You are exhausting yourself chasing things that were never meant to be caught. The job, the relationship, the version of life you convinced yourself you were supposed to have by now. And the harder you grip, the faster it slips. Not because you're weak, because you're operating on the wrong frequency entirely. Here's what no one tells you. Desperation is visible. People sense it. Opportunities sense it. And both pull away. There is a different way to move through this world. A way the Stoics discovered that has nothing to do with working harder, pushing further, or wanting it more. Stay until the end. Because the final principle reframes everything, and it's the one most people spend their entire lives never understanding. Marcus Aurelius governed an empire in perpetual crisis. Wars on every border. A plague killing thousands weekly. Advisors who betrayed him. Children who died before him. And yet, by every historical account, he moved with a stillness that unsettled the people around him. Not because he didn't care. Because he had mastered the single most important distinction in Stoic philosophy. The difference between what you influence and what you do not. Epictetus built the entire architecture of his teaching on this. He said, "Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens as it should." Read that again slowly. He's not telling you to be passive. He's telling you to stop tying your internal state to external outcomes. Because the moment you do that, you hand control of your peace to forces that were never in your hands to begin with. This is where most people bleed. They pour their identity into results. The promotion, the response, the number. And when those results don't arrive on schedule, they collapse. Not because the failure is unbearable, because they had no self left outside of the outcome. Seneca saw the same pattern in ancient Rome. Men of enormous talent, destroying themselves not through incompetence but through attachment. He wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The Stoics weren't teaching you to care less. They were teaching you to build something inside yourself that no external result could construct or destroy. That is the foundation. Everything else is built on it. Now understand what happens when you don't have that foundation. When your peace depends on outcomes, you become predictable. And predictable people are exploitable people. The manipulator in your life, whether that's a toxic partner, a controlling employer, or a covertly competitive friend, they don't need leverage over your circumstances. They only need leverage over your attachment. They dangle approval and withdraw it. They create urgency where there is none. They manufacture scarcity of their attention, their validation, their respect, and watch you scramble to fill the gap. This is called an approval dependency trap. It works precisely because you've outsourced your internal state to their behavior, and they know it consciously or not. There's a darker layer. When someone operates from chronic desperation, they signal low psychological value. Not because they lack ability, but because their energy communicates, "I need this. Please, I cannot be okay without it." That signal triggers a primal response in people with predatory tendencies. Neediness is not met with sympathy. It is met with exploitation. Epictetus, who had every reason to be desperate, enslaved, physically crippled, owning nothing, refused the trap. He wrote, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." His freedom wasn't circumstantial. It was psychological. And no one could touch it. The person who needs nothing from you holds all the power in every interaction. Not because they're cold, because they're complete. There is no lever to pull, no gap to exploit, no approval to withhold. That completeness is what you are building. Here is the architecture step by step. Step 1. Identify your attachment points. Write down the 3 outcomes you are most anxious about right now. For each one, ask a single question. If this never happens, who am I? If you cannot answer that clearly, that outcome owns you. Awareness of this is not defeat, it's the beginning of reclamation. Step 2. Separate action from outcome. The Stoics called this the discipline of action, doing the work fully, completely, with total commitment, and then releasing the result. Not pretending you don't care. Genuinely accepting that the result is outside your column. You control the seed. You do not control the rain. Plant and walk away. Step 3. Slow the energy down. Desperation operates at a specific frequency. rushed, scattered, reactive. Purpose operates at a completely different one, measured, deliberate, unhurried. Before any significant action, ask, am I moving from clarity or from fear? Seneca wrote, fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. The willing move with intention. The reluctant scramble. Step 4. Practice scarcity of self. Most people are too available, emotionally, energetically, conversationally. They over-explain, over-justify, over-pursue. Strategic withdrawal is not game playing. It is the natural behavior of someone who trusts their own value. Pull back your energy from places that have not earned it. Watch how the dynamic shifts. Step 5. Build your internal baseline. Each morning, before you interact with the world, establish who you are independent of the day's outcomes. Marcus Aurelius did this through journaling. Epictetus did it through philosophical contemplation. The method is irrelevant. The discipline is everything. A man who knows who he is before the world tells him cannot be told otherwise. Here is what you came for. The open loop from the beginning, the thing most people spend their entire lives never understanding. It is this. You have been trying to attract the life you want by chasing it, but attraction is not pursuit. Attraction is radiation. It is what happens when a person becomes so genuinely, deeply, unshakably themselves that the right things cannot help but move toward them. The Stoics didn't teach detachment because they were indifferent to life. They taught it because they understood a paradox that most people die without ever grasping. The less you need a specific outcome to feel whole, the more freely and naturally outcomes come to you. This is not mysticism. It is psychology. It is physics. Desperation repels. Completeness attracts. Marcus Aurelius governed with this. Epictetus taught with this. Seneca built his entire inner world on this. And every single one of them, despite catastrophic external circumstances, moved through life with a gravity that drew people, opportunities, and meaning toward them without effort. You are not waiting for permission from the world to feel whole. You are not waiting for the outcome to feel ready. The moment you stop chasing what you think will complete you and start embodying the person who no longer needs completing, everything changes. Not someday. No.